Hello and welcome. In today's video, I'm going to be showing you the best way to make money in Gran 7 update 1.29. So what you're going to need is the Honda RA272. And if you don't have this vehicle, you can pick it up in the legendary dealership for 2.5 million credits. Now, yes, I do know that is a lot of credits, but you will make your money back using this method. Now that we have the car, here's the tune. So firstly, you need racing hard tires, racing intermediate tires, and possibly racing wet tires. You need to have these three different tire compounds purchased because the event does have dynamic weather, so it might begin raining. When it comes to suspension, both the front and rear are going to be the same. For body height adjustments, anti-roll bar, dampening ratio expansion, natural frequency, only it's going to be different for negative camber and toe angle. So for body height adjustment, it's going to be 65, anti-roll bar is 10, dampening ratio compression is going to be 40, dampening ratio expansion is going to be 50, natural frequency is going to be 2.85. Now negative camber in the front is 2.5 and in the rear is 1.5. Toe angle is going to be 0.10 facing outward, and then 0.20 for the rear facing inward. Differential, that is the standard differential, you don't have to play. And the only other thing that you have to add is a high RPM turbocharger. Now that we have the car, the setup, now it's time for the event. So we're going to head on over to World Circuits Europe, head on over to 24 Hours of Le Mans circuit, the 700 performance points event, the World Touring Car 700. And you just want to start that event up. So I'm actually going to show you two different methods. One is going to be a possible no stop method, and the second one is just going to be a full flat out as fast as possible method. So if we're going to go on a fuel saving method, then as soon as the race begins, you're going to need to head on over and change your fuel setup to make it fuel map 6 and as lean as possible. And you're going to want to leave it there the entire race. Now just something to remind yourself, if you haven't used the Honda RA272, you do need to keep in mind this car has no downforce. You are not able to push it as fast through the corners as, for example, if you are in a Group 4 or any other race car. Because of the lack of downforce, the car is very understeery and oversteery. Another tip that I'm going to give you is try putting traction control on. Yes, it does slow you down a bit, but it does help out with tire wear. Something else you do need to watch out for is just the AI. As you can see, the AI is all over the place in this event, so just be careful. So now, on the straightaway, with the vehicle being on fuel map 6, we're easily able to fly past the AI doing over 300 kilometers per hour. Now something that you do need to remember is this car is not a new sports car. That means you need to brake early. The brakes are not the best on it, but as the race goes, you'll start picking up on how good the brakes are and where to brake and just a general feel for the vehicle. By the time we reach the end of our first lap, we see that the car has only used 11% of fuel and we are already in first place with a gap of over 9 seconds. So that just goes to show you how incredibly fast the car is compared to the AI. Also, another tip, if you don't want to stress and have the possibility of losing this event because you don't want to waste 30 minutes of your life, then set the difficulty to easy. I mean, even with the difficulty on hard, the car is still very capable of beating all of the AI. But if you don't want to run the chance of wasting 30 minutes, then set it to easy. Now, since we aren't going to be busy with our fuel and we just leave it on fuel map 6, I like to set it over to the weather radar. This gives me some idea of when I should be expecting the rain and the severity of the rain. How strong? Is it going to be a light drizzle that I don't even have to go into pit? Or do I need to go in and get racing with tires? Now at the end of the third lap, I'm going to head on over into the pits to just change my tires. I'm not going to add any fuel at all because I have around 68% of fuel still remaining. Now something that we can see is that we have over a minute gap between us and second place, and this is gonna give us more than enough time for us to have our complete pit change, because you know it takes about 4 working days to actually just change tires. We're actually gonna be able to leave the pit lane before the AI actually reaches our place. But now that we leave the pit lane, we have completed our first and only pit stop for the event, so now it is just a push to the end. And by the time we reach the end of the event, we are on our 7th lap, overtaking the AI, averaging a lap time of 4 minutes and 14 seconds with an optimal lap time of 4 minutes and 6 seconds. So that just goes to show you this car is incredibly fast, extremely light on fuel, because as you can see, we only did 1 fuel stop and we still have about 3 laps of fuel still remaining. So this car is incredibly fuel efficient, very fast. But let's say you don't want to be on fuel map 6 and you want to feel the full power of this vehicle. Well, just follow the setup. Now when the event starts, all you're gonna do is nothing, you just leave it. If your traction control is off, put the traction on, and that's you already just waiting to see if the weather is gonna change, because leave it on fuel map 1 for the entirety of the race and you will see how incredibly fast this vehicle is. But if you do use the first method and now you're coming on over to the second method, you do need to realize that because the car is traveling at a higher speed, you do need to watch out, because the way this car takes corners is going to be different, as well as when you need to brake. Because I was making a lot of mistakes when it came to my turning and my actual braking, because I'm used to using the fuel map 6 method, and this is a very big change. Now the biggest change you will notice is when you get your foot flat to the ground. You will see how this car just climbs speed, and it goes so much faster than if the car was on fuel map 6. As you can see, we are climbing upwards of 340 kilometers per hour. And as I said, you do need to watch out for the braking to avoid this from happening. But other than that, the minute you get used to where you need to brake, how the car takes turns, this car is an absolute rocket ship, averaging a lap time of under 4 minutes and 10 seconds is honestly something groundbreaking. Now we come into refuel at the end of the 3rd lap, because we also need to change our tires. If there is no rain on your radar, then you can still refuel on the 4th lap, even the 5th lap, but that might be pushing it. So when it comes to refueling, you're gonna have it start from wherever you have your level at and fill it up until, say, there's 4 laps of fuel remaining. So that way we know even with it staying on fuel map 1, the car will make it the entirety of the race. Now I had to come into pits the very next lap because I made a crucial mistake when it came to my tires. I chose racing intermediates when I needed racing wets. So now with that change, I'm not actually going to change my fuel at all. I'm not even going to fill up just a little bit more. Now something that I do like about this vehicle is that it is so powerful that the gap between you and second place is so large, you can make a mistake like that, where if you choose a wrong tire compound, you can still go in and pit again and put on the correct one and still have a gap. Plus too, it helps when it is raining, because the AI, honestly, it struggles a lot. Now as you can see, coming here, I'm not really sure where I cut a corner, but apparently I cut a rather big corner and landed myself a 3-second penalty. But that doesn't really make a difference, because the gap between us and second place is 3 minutes and 34 seconds. Yes, ladies and gentlemen, that is almost an entire lap between us and second place. And we actually end off the event with 0.9 laps of fuel remaining, finishing in first place, lapping second place, and just having an overall good time. Now what I really love about this vehicle, you never get bored behind the wheel of it. From the time the race starts to the end, it is complete excitement and exhilaration. It's one of the best cars you can actually own in Gran Turismo 7, and I absolutely adore it. So With all this being said, hope you guys did go on to enjoy this. And if you want to see my actual review on the Honda RA272, then watch the video on screen right now. Thank you so much for your time, and I'll see you in the next one. Peace.